From the vise of Bear Andrews comes Bear's Strip Fry. Salmon fry are an important food source for spring steelhead throughout the Great Lakes. If you're headed out this spring, you might want a few of these in your box. Hey everyone, Matt here with the Northern Angler in Traverse City, Michigan. You can find all the materials for this fly and lots more at thenorthernangler.com. With the high water of spring, these young salmon are pushed to the edges of the river and become easy pickings for hungry steelhead. When the fry bite is on, this is one of the few flies you'll need. All right, once you've got your hook securely in the vise, start your thread right up at the eye. And you can go ahead and trim off any excess. I like to start out by actually putting the eyes on. Just helps me have a reference for where things need to go and how far forward I can afford to work my materials. So tie those in just with a small gap of space in front. That'll help us tie off the rabbit, the final piece. Zigzag, crisscross, whatever you need to do. Doesn't have to be perfect. Work your thread back to the barb. Great, don't need to go any further than that. We're going to use a little bit of grizzly marabou. You may need to use two. Once in a while you get lucky and you get a nice big chunk like this, which is great. I'm going to strip off some of the junk off the bottom. I like to wet these fibers just to work with them a little bit, and I'm going to measure one shank length. Transfer the measurement. I like to keep everything on top, and you can wrap up, help build the body up a little bit here, trim the excess, lash the rest of that down, and you got a nice little tail there. Next we're going to add a little bit of flash. I usually just use one strand per side, trim it in half, fold it, and then you're going to end up with 4. It's a little bit flashy, but this is steelhead. We're trying to get their attention. Trim that just beyond. Grab one more strand. Half it. Same deal, fold it and secure it. Trim. Great. All right, we need to tie in our rabbit. This is a pretty important part. Try and find the thinnest rabbit you can get. This is a little bit thinner than standard. It's just going to make your life a little bit easier. If you need to trim rabbit down, I would actually suggest buying the magnum size rabbit and then trimming it. You just have more to work with. It's easier to trim down than a standard zonker strip, I find. So I just want this to extend so the rabbit is just beyond the tails here. Expose the hide. Put in 3-4 wraps, and then I just fold this back out of the way, put it in the material clip if you have one. Next we're going to dub. Pretty simple body with pearl ice dub. Don't really have to worry about too much of a taper. Being a steelhead fly, this is a fly you need to be willing to lose. So we're tying these quick, cranking through them. When the fry bite is on, they're not as discerning, but you gotta be a little bit close, you know. All right, so that's perfect. I built that taper up just a little bit. There's a nice bump there, and we're gonna use just a small little mallard feather here, mallard flank. Teal is also very nice. It's a little bit easier to get the right size with. I'm just going to tie this in, make sure I got the stem secure, not just the tips. And really, you do not need a lot of wraps. I'm going to put 1, maybe 2 wraps, and I'm happy. Make sure it's secure. Reach in, tie that off. Now we're going to add a little bit of color. We're going full hot orange to imitate that little egg sac the fry like to carry around with them. And here we're just going to dub between the mallard and the eyes and create a nice little ball. So don't be afraid to go back and forth a few times. This is the most prominent part of the fly. Great, work your thread in front of the eyes here, but still right up against the eyes, not up against the eye of the hook. Stretch that rabbit over the top. And here we really want to try and find the hide. There we go. Take your time, stretch it though. I'm taking securing wraps, wrapping towards the eye. Lift it up, take some wraps to the shank, that'll really secure it. And then I'm just going to cover up that remaining hide with a few more wraps. Grab my whip finish tool. Tie that off, trim it, and you can comb out that rabbit if you need to.
Well, that's Bear's strip fry. It's a staple here for spring steelhead throughout the Great Lakes. I hope you all get a chance to tie some of these up and try them out soon. Make sure you grab the materials list. There's a link in the description below. We'll see you all soon in the shop or out on the water.